Deadly driving habits. First, the educational aim of this module is to understand dangerous habits when driving a vehicle and how to replace them with safe driving behavior. Fatal habits include 1. Speeding. 2. Ignoring the blind spot. 3. Driving too close to vehicles. 4. Overtaking on a shoulder. 5. Not wearing a seatbelt. 6. Unhelpful passenger participation. 7. Certain volatile habits whilst driving. Warning: certain clips may contain sense of accidents or injuries. Second, speeding is usually fatal and is the main cause of death in the kingdom. To avoid the risk of death, do not speed. Third, speeding increases the distance required to stop your vehicle in an emergency situation. The distance traveled by your car when needing to react to such emergency increases with higher speed. When you use the brakes, your car will need a longer time to stop. Fourth, click on the images one after the other and discover the difference between an accident at 64 km per hour and another accident at 100 km per hour. What do you think the outcome would be if you were in an accident at a speed of 120 km per hour? Fifth, the probability of death in a collision significantly increases with increasing speed. 1. The probability of death in an accident at 70 km per hour is 1 in 10. 2. The probability of death in an accident at 90 km per hour is 8 in 10. What is the probability of risk? Risking your life at 120 km per hour or at a speed higher than 120 km per hour? Would you risk your life and that of your family if the death rate was certain? Sixth, just as excessive speed is fatal, choosing the wrong lane at the wrong speed can also be. In this picture of the highway, the appropriate speed must follow the traffic in the lane, whilst also making sure not to exceed the maximum speed limit. 1. It is required to stay in the left-hand lane when driving at the maximum speed limit when overtaking only. 2. It is best to stay in the middle lane when driving at a medium speed. 3. It is best to stay in the right-hand lane when driving slowly. Keeping up with the speed of the traffic in a specific lane is a way to prevent you from having an accident. For example, driving slowly in the left-hand lane will increase the likelihood of a collision from the vehicle to your rear, which is also likely to cause a series of accidents. Another example is poor speed management, such as changing lane from the far left at high speed to the far right to exit the road quickly. Seventh, failure to check the blind spot when changing lanes is a lethal and deadly habit. You cannot see vehicles in the spot, even when looking in the side and rear view mirrors. By using just one technique, you can see what is in the blind spot. Simply glance over your left or right shoulder depending on need. Eighth, there is a way that may reduce the blind spot by adjusting the outside mirrors. Ninth, failure to leave a safe distance can be lethal, increasing the likelihood of you colliding with the car in front of you as you get closer to it. Therefore, you must use the 2-second rule to leave a safe distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. 10th, the ideal way to check that there is a safe distance between you and the vehicle ahead of you is to use the 2-second rule. This is when the rear of the vehicle in front of you is parallel to a fixed reference point on the road. Begin counting 1001, 1002. You must not finish counting before you reach the same reference point. Example, a lamppost, sign, or anything else fixed to the side of the road. 11th, if your vehicle reaches the reference point before you finish counting, it means that you have not left a safe distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. 12th, if you are driving your vehicle too close to the vehicle ahead of you, reduce your speed and leave additional space between you and the vehicle in front. Use the 2-second rule again to check that the distance separating you from the vehicle ahead is safe and is at least 2 seconds apart. 13th, overtaking on the shoulder is a fatal habit. The shoulder is a distance on the right and left of the highway after the yellow lines for stopping in emergencies only. Using the shoulder to overtake is not safe and is also illegal, for which you may be issued an offense. 14th. Overtaking on the shoulder places you and the car you are overtaking in danger of having a fatal accident. The reason for this is due to your excessive speed and coming too close to the concrete barrier or the road's edge. You will also come too close to the vehicle you are overtaking, and the likelihood of residue, stones, and wreckage at the side of the road places you and others in great danger. 15th. You must carefully consider your decision whenever you overtake on a shoulder, as you may find a vehicle containing a family and you may kill its occupants, mother, father, and children. It is important to consider the implications associated with the actions and decisions you take whilst driving on the road. 16th. Failure to wear your seatbelt is often fatal. The seatbelt could save your life if you use it correctly. Therefore, it is the driver's responsibility to check that all passengers are wearing their seatbelt. Failing to wear a seatbelt may cause death if one is involved in an accident. 17th. Child safety seats vary depending on the size and age of the child. Check that the child seat is the appropriate size for your child every month. If the size of the seat is not appropriate, you must change it immediately. 18th. Not using passengers to help assist the driver effectively, such as co-pilot in the cockpit, can often be fatal. If you are a passenger, it is your responsibility to check that the driver completes the journey safely. In 2009, 50% of deaths resulting from vehicle accidents were passengers. If you are a passenger, try to prevent or advise the driver from exceeding the speed limit or when engaging in any fatal action or habit. As a driver, you must encourage passengers to be effective as well as positive in order to ensure a safe journey. 19th. As the driver of a vehicle, encourage passengers to help with navigation systems, maps and GPS devices. Let passengers take all phone calls and encourage them to help identify hazards on the road. If you are a passenger, be ready and remind the driver of his responsibilities towards you should he behave unacceptably whilst driving. 20th. A safe journey can be realized by eradicating all deadly behaviors and habits before you start driving. Think carefully about all of the deadly habits, as well as how to protect yourself and those with you in the vehicle and on the road from the result of your actions. Taking this into consideration increases the likelihood of you arriving safely.